Hello, this is Revealing Light Tarot. I want to do a couple of things today. I want to read on whether or not if Mitch McConnell, as he's threatened to push the SCOTUS nomination in through before Monday, if Professor Blasey Ford doesn't testify to in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, they're saying now that they'll push that nomination forward. I want to know if that will be the case. Will they do that? Will they risk that? And if they do, what will be the consequences? The other thing that is in this mix, this maelstrom, I guess, is that President Trump, shall I call him President Trump? Trump tweeted that he could not understand why Professor Ford did not come forward earlier on with this allegation. And of course, there's been a trending viral response to that, with women coming forward and acknowledging that they have had some sexual assault or sexual assault, I guess, in the past, and why they hadn't come forward. I'm not sure that's the response that President Trump was looking for, but that's the response that he's provoked, because he just couldn't help himself. He couldn't help his impulses, and the politics of it all was just too much for him. So he had to vent his spleen, and he did that in a very damaging tweet. And Mitch McConnell has come out again. We've seen his unpleasant standing on many things, but on this one as well, where he's taken the hard line and said that they're going to push it through if Professor Ford doesn't come forward. So, what is going to be the effect of that? And will they take it to the vote if she doesn't testify, and what is going to be the effect of that? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, the Nine of Cups, they're really very smug about all of this. They've always been smug. And they feel that nothing much can touch them. They've got the upper hand, and they are not seeing exactly the power of the maelstrom that has been created with this. They're still in that smug, arrogant, I've got the upper hand position here. Okay, so they tried, for political gain, they tried to be measured, but in the end they just can't, and they're seeing it slip away, and they're wanting to get the nomination through for a vote ASAP before any more chaos is created, any more ill feeling, ill will, any more damage is done. So here they are, very, very arrogant at the moment. Okay, now the Hermit is isolation, and what that is saying is that they're isolating themselves by their action. They're not winning any friends, and this could also be they're also not winning any support for the SCOTUS nomination within America. And one of our other readings has pointed to the rule of the people. So that's what they're isolating themselves from. And that will have consequences for them down the line. They're the government. They shouldn't be in this position at all. Meaning it was very foolish to take this road. And look at the swords there behind the Hermit. And he's in the dark, and he's having to navigate via a small lamp. It's not a good position for your ruling government to be in, but they're isolating themselves through their actions. And I guess we always pull this card in relation to the Republican Party, because it is about loans and giving and receiving help. But this is also connected, I think, to the way that politics or the way the Republican Party is currently operating with the super PACs and the dark money that has funded many of their senators and their congressmen and women, I guess. This card is. I don't know. I mean, there's swords behind this card. All in the background here, we've got a lot of swords. The scales there suggesting the scales of justice. So, loans and debts. When I look at this card in relation to the SCOTUS nomination, this is about doing something in relation for a preconceived outcome. So this SCOTUS nomination has been done to achieve something that is resting. The outcome is in the balance at the moment. And we've got these swords behind it. So, in other words, I feel this card is saying that the nomination, the SCOTUS nomination, is just being cut away to reveal something that to reveal the truth, I guess. So we'll just have a bit of a deepening of the reading. The Four of Cups, something is being taken away from them, and when we look at the Nine of Cups, the smugness, the arrogance, this is being taken away from them. Their position is being threatened by this. Okay, under the Hermit, clarifying the Hermit, we have the Judgment call. They're being judged for their actions, and that is what is isolating them. And when we say judged, how does the electorate judge the government? They judge the government at the polls. That is their primary source of judging the government. So the Seven of Rods is as we know, is about self-defence and standing your ground. And this is where they are at the moment. They're standing their ground on the nomination. And they're standing their ground because of this preconceived outcome that they need. The Ace of Wands, of course, in clarifying the smugness and what is being taken away from them, their position, I guess, their authority, their legitimacy, is about new projects and new jobs, and I guess not new jobs, but the urge to create something. And in this regard, I think it's meaning the urge to create that agenda that would see them deliver another SCOTUS to the Supreme Court. Again, this preconceived agenda. And that, in relation to what's being taken away from them, is the idea itself, the preconceived idea, is actually being eroded. It's being taken away from them. The Nine of Wands is keeping and maintaining boundaries in this instance, and it's persistence and tests of their resolve, and that's clarifying the Hermit card. They're being tested, they're being judged, but they're persisting with it, and I think they're persisting to their detriment. Okay, the Three of Wands is about expansion and commerce, and that's clarifying the deal, the preconceived agenda that they had. They're standing their ground with it at this point in time, and the Three of Wands is he's looking out overseas. So I'm wondering in this instance, I mean, it's not clear to me, so we might clarify that card. Are there overseas interests involved in this SCOTUS nomination? Is that the preconceived agenda? Okay, let's just have a look. Are there preconceived? Oh, okay, preconceived agenda. Are there overseas interests? Overseas interest involved in this nomination. Goodness gracious, what a mess. Yes, well, the magician card is about, sorry, I'm hoping you can see that, is about them working their magic. It's about someone overseas working there, pulling the strings, the puppet master. The magician, his table is covered by swords. And, he's creating the magic around here. The magician card brings the unconscious to the conscious. So in this reading, it is telling me that those behind the scenes deals or agendas are being brought out through the SCOTUS nomination process. And it could well be a puppet master from, overseas interests. And here we've got the idea to do it, the will to see it done, and the magician is there to actually see that it's done. So in that instance, the magician is there to see it's done. Who is that magician? The magician is there to see it's done. Is that Trump? Kavanaugh was Trump's pick. Okay, all right, this is all connected to Donald Trump. He's the magician in this card. If there is overseas collusion, and that's yet to be proved, there's an investigation at the moment, then that would point to overseas interest potentially, depending on the results of the Mueller probe, overseas interest potentially being involved in the decisions that Trump is making. All right, I just wanted to really, there's been so much on this SCOTUS nomination. I guess we will they take it to the Senate if Professor Ford doesn't come forward, and we've got that they're standing their ground and trying to protect themselves, and they're going to be coming together, as a team, I guess, to get it across the line. So it's suggesting, I guess, that perhaps they will bring it to the Senate if Professor Ford doesn't testify. But, we've also got the magician card, as I said, signifying Donald Trump. The magician card also is about pulling rabbits out of hats. It's about surprises. It's about last-minute happenings. So I think it's also telling us that don't be surprised what might unfold over the next 24, 48 hours. We'll have another look as we get closer to it. This is I've just in my gut, I know this is a really important issue that's bringing up more than just what we can see. It's a very, very critical issue. So hence the reason why we've done so many readings on it. But anyway, that's sort of like an update for you today. Thank you.